it always still relates back to race, Like when I talk to a couple of friends,
It should not.
it should not, but somehow it always go there. Talking about urban poverty, right? So right now we do have that amazingly tall building being.
Oh yeah, man.
Right. It's going to be the second tallest in the world, right?
What's the building called? Is it
TRX?
Bangunan Merdeka, is it?
Huh?
What's the name? I don't know.
Is it
what's the name.
Bangunan Merdeka? I thought it's TRX.
It's TRX, is it? Well, that sounds
TRX, right?
sounds pretty cool, right? Okay. I just want to ask: is that building really necessary? I felt like we could use the money spent on the building to be used to the public and to
the
improve urban land.
That's something. When I was in the ministry and in Putrajaya, I fought very hard for an agency for children, minimum, at least, or you must have a full-fledged ministry for children. Simply because I feel that for 30% of our population, that's our asset, 30% children.
True. That's true, yeah.
We don't even have an agency, but we have so many agencies looking at digital grant.
Sure.
Even palm oil, you have like multiple agencies. But how come
None
for
for
our
kids.
population, you have youth, but you don't have children? Yeah. So as long as we don't treat this asset, we don't guard it, they are going to be violated, and very quickly they grow up, and they're 18 and they're 19, and we're not spending enough on them. So you asked me just now why that kind of spending on that kind of big building when basic thing like this, an agency looking after children rights, we don't have.
Right.
Yeah, and we have to beg for like 10 million to set up childcare for children. We don't even have a system to track pedophiles in this country. We don't have.
Oh, I see.
And so these are some of the weakness in the system that I discovered when I entered, and I feel such unjust. It's really a great sense of injustice when children are not taken care of because they don't vote. Tomorrow, if the children can vote, they'll look after. We spend more on football in this nation than we spend on children.
That's so sad. And the football is still shit. I'm so sorry for cursing on the podcast in front of Hannah. But
we spend more in football.
Of course. We spend millions on football.
But that is more of a symptom of how little we spend on children rather than how much we spend on football, right?
True.
Yeah.
But also,
I'm not condemning how much we're spending on sports. I'm just saying that for 30% of our population, we are not spending enough on them.
It's legit the future of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was listening to a statement that you made on the on Ginny Boy's podcast about how like it's damn sad how kids, right? I think you finish UPSI, you don't need to study or something like that, right?
Yes.
And it was something about how underage marriage is totally okay, but then at the same time, can you blame them because there's no
correct?
What do you call that? There are no high schools in place in rural areas for them to go to. So how does that solve the issue?
Yeah.
In the end, ultimately, by 16. You're probably going to get married because there's no high school in place.
Yeah.
So I think it's so sad, right? How there are so many things that the money could have solved, but they focus on another tall skyscraper that is probably going to be really empty. I think KLCC also is quite empty. I was having a conversation with my friend. He said KLCC, it's damn empty. I'm like, huh? Is it? But isn't it like prime location? But nobody like rents it out. Nobody stays there.
So this is why I feel that there's a need for politicians to unpack and unwrap some of these reports and make it easily understood for people.
Right.
If you're looking at buildings, you talk about oversupply. There are all these commercial units everywhere. People are buying it just for investment, and then there's no tenants.
That's right.
It's all empty, and green space is taken up to construct and to build some of these things.
Yep.
And then recently there's a Public Accounts Committee report, and they look into overdevelopment in Kuala Lumpur and how lands have been taken away. Land for utility, and then six pieces of land for retention pond have been used for development. And we wonder why there's flash flood in Kuala Lumpur. So, things like that, if we unwrap it for people, then people can understand. They feel like, I want to go and read the report. But if you just give the report, nobody's going to want to read it.